So the mainstream liberal media is complaining that the Democratic Party candidates are too white. Now, there are two very important aspects to this allegation that we need to look at. So let's talk about it. My name is Sharma. Welcome to the Sharma Show. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Sharma Show. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. So parts of the liberal mainstream media are very, very upset at the fact that most of the Democratic frontrunners are extremely white. Obviously, for the party that's supposed to be the woke party, for the party that's supposed to be the party of intersectionality, the party of the people of color, it obviously leaves them with a red face. Vox said, January's debate stage, much like this year's slate of Oscar nominees, is going to be very, very white. Several prominent candidates of color, including Senator Kamala Harris, Senator Cory and former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro, have dropped out in the past few months. Politico reported how people said that there has to be structural change. Systemic racism permeates everything in this country. I think Democrats are doing some soul searching right now. I don't know if white Democrats are really stepping up and looking at how the system is biased and prevents others from coming through. The core of Harris's campaign was the fact that African American women and women in general have carried the Democratic Party. Now, he said, her young African American endorsers are asking, what does this mean for us? What do we do next? Journalist Lauren Duca said, Kamala Harris officially ended her campaign today, which means that all of the candidates who currently qualify for the December Democratic debate are white. Sanders, Warren, Biden, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Steyer. White supremacy is not just a Fox News problem, folks. White supremacy? Really? So look, when we're discussing this issue, there are two very big aspects of this issue that we need to really talk about, in my opinion. The first main aspect is diversity for the sake of diversity is not the best idea. That's how you get bad candidates. Kamala Harris and Cory Booker are not good candidates to win against Trump. Kamala Harris got absolutely destroyed in the debates. You know, she talked about her record as a prosecutor. She said she's going to be a prosecutor president, but then Tulsi absolutely raked her over the coals. She said that she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. Her campaign has also struggled from the start to decide whether or not she'd want to eliminate the private healthcare industry. Obviously, the whole topic of Medicare for All is a very important and contentious topic in the Democratic circles. This is someone with a lot of skeletons in her closet. This is someone with a shady record. This is someone who got completely found out in the debates, and this is someone who would not have done well against Trump. Booker is no better really either. He's just too over dramatic. Remember when Booker recounted that he wept tears of rage when Trump apparently referred to some countries as shitholes? Like seriously, even the people from the countries that Trump called shitholes would have been like, take it down a notch. Ben Shapiro likened his hammy acting to Tommy Wiseau in The Room, and I completely agree.
You are lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
And remember, for political purposes, he once fabricated an imaginary drug dealer friend named T-Bone as well. Also, when he was a senator on the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee during Trump's nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court, he infamously self-induced a Spartacus moment. Again, this guy is someone who's too dramatic, too emotional. I just don't think a person like that would get sympathy or traction with sort of small town American voters in middle America. And again, when you're looking at people that can beat Trump, I just don't think he's a good candidate. So that's the first aspect of this entire debate, whether some of the people of color candidates are actually good enough to get the nomination. And the second aspect of this debate is, what does the liberal mainstream media do with the people of color candidates that are actually good enough? There are actually good candidates that have innovative policies, that have bipartisan support, that also happen to be people of color. But all the Democratic establishment and the liberal mainstream media has done is either ignore them or openly smear them. So on the one hand, you have white candidates like Elizabeth Warren who gets almost 100% positive coverage from the liberal mainstream media, which undoubtedly has helped her poll numbers. Then you take a look at somebody like Andrew Yang. This is one of the only people that is seriously talking about the problems of automation and the problems of AI. You know, people don't really realize how hard these problems of automation and AI are going to hit. And so if the United States is not prepared when automation and AI really hit, it's going to have serious political, economic, and social repercussions. And Andrew Yang is one of the only people who's talking about this and who's talking about developing a plan to deal with it. He also has some very interesting ideas about universal healthcare. He also has some very interesting ideas about election campaign reform. And look, you may or may not agree with his ideas, but you can't deny that this is a guy with a plan. This is a guy that has very clear ideas and he has a very clear roadmap about how to achieve those ideas. Isn't that exactly what you would want in a leader? And one more huge intangible thing that in my opinion really works in his favor is that he's a normal guy. He doesn't talk like a politician. You know, one of the big positives that Trump had, and I'm not saying Trump and Andrew Yang are very similar, but one of the big positives that Trump had that a lot of people used to say is that this guy doesn't talk like a politician. This guy talks like a normal person. And that's exactly what Andrew Yang has got working for him as well. He's a normal guy. But how does the mainstream establishment media treat him? The mainstream liberal media clearly disadvantages him. Though he recently ended it, Andrew Yang had once boycotted MSNBC for the little amount of time that they actually gave him to speak on the Democratic debates, which were co-organized by MSNBC and Washington Post. According to a New York Times analysis, Yang spoke for 6 minutes and 48 seconds, which was less time than any other candidate on the stage. Yang's media woes extended beyond the debates. Yang has been repeatedly left out of MSNBC and CNN on-screen graphics showing the Democratic candidate lineup, and MSNBC once even misidentified him as John Yang. Oh my God.
Oh, did I just do a racism?
Then there's Tulsi Gabbard. Look at Tulsi Gabbard's policies. She's the only candidate that is openly going against both the Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment to end the United States' endless regime change wars. She has a very comprehensive plan to fight climate change. In fact, her off plan that she sponsored was called a game changer by Food and Water Watch. She wants to end the failed war on drugs. She supports Medicare for all. She has a 100% positive voting record for the LGBTQ community. She's someone that openly stood up to Hillary Clinton, one of the shadiest politicians in America, something that even someone like Bernie and Elizabeth Warren haven't done. She's a veteran that has served in Iraq. She's seen the true cost of these endless wars that the United States has been involved in, and she would make an excellent commander-in-chief. And she also happens to be a person of color. And equally importantly, she's someone that draws support from both the left and the right. Isn't that exactly what people are looking for in a president? Someone that can bring the country together. Someone that can bring the left and the right to come together and work towards a common goal. And she was also the most searched candidate on Google after the first two Democratic debates. So what does the media do with such a promising candidate who also happens to be a person of color? They call her an Assad supporter. They call her a Russian asset. They say most of her supporters are incels. They say most of her supporters are far right. They say that she supports the far right in India, which is completely untrue. Prominent Democrats share articles written by Christian bigots completely smearing her without any proof, without any substantive claims, and they share these and push these articles on Twitter. And on top of that, Google blocks her account just when she was the most searched candidate on Google after the Democratic debates, just when she would have been able to really put her name out there and really get people knowing about her policies and knowing about who she is as a candidate. That's exactly when Google blocked her account. So you're basically shafting two of the most promising candidates that you've got in the Democratic Party. The mainstream media has open bias against these people. They barely let them speak on the debate stage, and then they publish utter and complete lies about these people, and then they have the audacity to turn around and say that, well, enough people of color are not being represented and the Democratic Party leadership is too white. Do you see the problem here? And I want to ask you as well, do you think that promising people of color candidates like Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard have been given a fair shake by the liberal mainstream media? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section down below. And again, guys, if you liked today's episode, make sure to leave a like, leave a thumbs up. It helps me out. It helps the channel out a great deal. This is a brand new channel. And if you enjoy this video, please make sure to share this video as well. If you like the Sham Sharma Show, if you like what we do here on the Sham Sharma Show, and if you'd like to support it, click on the Patreon button in the description down below. Become a patron of the show. You get the brand new mugs that are going to be coming out and shipping out to you very soon as well if you're a patron of the show. And you get access to the Sham Sharma Show WhatsApp and Discord servers as well. If you like today's episode, if you like the Sham Sharma Show, but you haven't subscribed to the Sham Sharma Show yet, what are you doing? Click on the subscribe button down here. Make sure to subscribe. Click the bell icon as well. Don't forget to do that so you can get the newest, latest videos into your feed whenever they come out. And we have videos over here and over here as well that you should really check out that I'm sure you like. I'll see you next time, and until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.